In a world where emotions bleed from one soul into another, how much of your suffering is truly yours? Just as a candle cannot burn without fire, men cannot live without a spiritual life. Buddha. But what happens when that life is constantly flooded with emotions that don't even belong to you? Have you ever entered a space and felt instantly overwhelmed, like the weight of other people's pain clung to your chest? This isn't just empathy, it's emotional absorption, and it's silently draining your spirit. In this video, we're diving into timeless Buddhist wisdom to help you stop carrying what was never yours. You'll uncover 10 transformative lessons to shield your energy, reclaim your inner calm, and awaken a deeper freedom. Stay until the end, because Lesson 7 holds a truth that might just shift your emotional world forever. We'd love to hear your thoughts. If you're not sure what to say, just type, "I protect my peace." 1. You were never meant to hold it all. Have you ever wondered why you feel tired even when nothing visible seems wrong? Why the world feels heavier even on quiet days? Perhaps the truth is this: you were never meant to hold it all. The pain, the fear, the expectations, they don't all belong to you. And yet, like a sponge left too long in the ocean, you've absorbed everything around you. Every complaint, every emotion, every sorrow, until you forgot what was yours and what was never meant to stay. Peace begins where ownership ends. That single line holds a wisdom that many miss in their race to be everything for everyone. In Buddhist teaching, suffering often arises not from what happens to us, but from what we cling to. And one of the subtlest forms of clinging is emotional absorption, unknowingly taking on the burdens of others, the moods of rooms, the pain of strangers, until you are drowning in a sea that was never meant for you to cross. The Buddha once said, "Just as a snake sheds its skin, we must shed what no longer serves us." Emotional freedom begins when you stop identifying with everything you feel, because not everything you feel is yours. Some of it is inherited, passed down like worn-out clothes from parents, teachers, or society. Some of it is borrowed, from people whose suffering you tried to solve by carrying it in silence. Think back. Who taught you to carry others' pain? Whose storm did you try to calm by holding the lightning inside your own chest? Modern life doesn't pause for reflection. It tells you to push through, to fix, to be strong. But inner strength isn't about carrying more. It's about knowing when to put it down. Buddhist mindfulness teaches us this: not everything that enters your mind must stay. You are not a container. You are a flowing stream. Let what is not yours move past you. Try this. Place your hand gently on your heart and whisper, "I return what is not mine." Let those words soften the grip. Let them be your quiet rebellion against years of silent suffering. So, what emotional weight are you holding that doesn't belong to you? What would happen if you finally let it go? There's a power in no longer being the sponge, in becoming the mountain instead, untouched by passing storms, still in presence, firm in essence. Pain only enters where the gate is open. Close the gate, and what once broke, you will pass through like wind through the trees. You were never meant to hold it all. You were meant to know what's yours and live light, free, and whole in that knowing. Let this be your turning point. Release the weight. Reclaim your peace. 2. Pain is energy, not identity. Have you ever noticed how quickly a passing emotion can become your identity? One minute, you're feeling pain. The next, you're calling yourself broken. But here's the quiet truth. Buddhist wisdom whispers, pain is energy, not identity. Just because you feel it doesn't mean you are it. Pain is a cloud, not the sky. It visits, but it is not the home. Yet somewhere along the way, we begin to fuse our suffering with who we are. We say things like, "I am anxious," or "I am worthless." These aren't passing clouds anymore. They become the names we write on our inner walls. But suffering grows when mistaken for self. That's the trap, mistaking the mist for the mountain, forgetting that underneath all the fog, your mountain still stands, solid, untouched. Buddhist philosophy teaches detachment not as indifference, but as clarity. You can feel without becoming. You can witness your own sadness like watching wind dance through the trees, acknowledging its movement without trying to cage it. The moment you stop grasping, the energy begins to move. You become the sky again, spacious, still, free. So let me ask you, have you fused pain with who you are? Have you unknowingly carried it so long that you've forgotten how to separate it from your name, your purpose, your worth? The mind is quick to attach meaning to pain, but pain is simply energy, a signal, not a sentence, a wave, not your reflection, a teacher, not your truth. To hold it as identity is to build your home in a thunderstorm. It will shake, it will drown, it will never feel safe. Instead, pause, breathe. Imagine your pain as passing wind. Do you chase the breeze or define yourself by the cold it brings? Number. You feel it and you let it go. This is the practice, gentle yet life-changing. Ask yourself, what would remain if you let it pass? If all your hurt was just energy, moving, dissolving, what would be left behind? The answer is your true self, quiet, steady, rooted in awareness. This is not about ignoring your feelings. It's about honoring them without becoming them. That's inner freedom. That's the space where healing grows. You are not your wounds. You are the one who feels them and lets them move through. The one who breathes, not the breeze. The one who watches, not the wave. When you stop confusing pain with your reflection, clarity returns like sunlight breaking through the fog. So the next time pain visits, don't ask, "Why me?" Ask, "What if this isn't me at all?" Let it pass. Let you remain. 3. Silence is your shield. Sometimes the most powerful thing you can do is say nothing at all. Not out of fear, not out of weakness, but from a place of deep, grounded presence. Silence is your shield. In a noisy world that rewards reactions and glorifies constant expression, silence can feel like surrender. But Buddhist wisdom reminds us, in stillness, nothing enters without permission. In silence, you become the gatekeeper. You choose what enters, you choose what stays. Like a mountain untouched by storms, true silence isn't empty, it's full of clarity. When emotions rise, anger, sadness, betrayal, our first instinct is often to speak, to explain, to justify. But words born from emotional reaction rarely protect us. They usually entangle us deeper. In contrast, silence holds space. It allows the storm to pass without letting it inside. It gives you the pause between trigger and response, the moment where healing begins. Many carry emotional pain because they've never learned how to pause, how to sit with discomfort instead of projecting it, how to hold their inner space like sacred ground. But silence teaches you. Sit for a minute, eyes closed. Listen only to your breath. Let everything else fall away. In that stillness, you'll find something most people spend their lives searching for: sovereignty over your inner world. Ask yourself honestly, do you speak to defend or to disconnect from pain? How often do you use words to escape rather than to express? Words can be powerful tools for healing, but without awareness, they can become weapons against others or yourself. There's a moment in every storm where the thunder quiets and all you hear is the air. That's what silence gives you, a return to clarity. When was the last time silence healed you? Not just the absence of noise, but the deep, intentional quiet where insight arises and old pain loses its grip. Silence doesn't mean inaction. It means choosing not to be reactive. It's a powerful act of self-protection, not isolation. It creates space between you and the energy of others, so you stop absorbing what doesn't serve you. The next time you're overwhelmed, don't rush to speak. Don't rush to explain. Instead, become the mountain. Let the winds howl, the rain fall, but remain grounded in stillness. And in that pause, you'll notice something shift. The world may not change, but your experience of it will. The most sacred battles are not won by noise, but by knowing when to remain still. In silence, you find your boundary. In stillness, you reclaim your power. Let this be your quiet revolution. Let silence be your shield. 4. Empathy is a gift, not a cage. You've always felt things deeply. You notice the pain in someone's eyes before they speak. You sense the tension in a room before a word is said. And maybe, somewhere along the way, that gift of empathy became something heavier, something you didn't know how to turn off. But empathy was never meant to be a burden. It is a gift, not a cage. And Buddhist wisdom gently reminds us, compassion frees, attachment drains. There's a sacred difference between carrying someone's pain and sitting beside them in theirs. Imagine a candle lighting another. The flame spreads, but the original candle does not grow dim. True compassion is like that, offering warmth, presence, understanding, without losing your own center. But too often, we confuse empathy with absorption. We take in the pain of others as if it's our responsibility to heal them, fix them, save them. And slowly, the light we once gave so freely begins to flicker. Ask yourself now, where has empathy turned into emotional entrapment? When did helping start to hurt? When did your open heart become a doorway for everyone else's chaos? Buddhism teaches that compassion is wise love. It feels deeply, but sees clearly. It doesn't entangle. It doesn't assume responsibility for what others must carry on their own path. Attachment, on the other hand, blurs that clarity. It makes us think we must suffer with someone in order to support them. But suffering doesn't serve healing, presence does. The next time you feel overwhelmed by someone else's emotions, try this simple practice. Breathe in, say silently, compassion. Breathe out, not attachment. This mantra is a boundary, a reminder that love doesn't mean sacrifice of self, that you can care without carrying. Ask yourself again, can you care without carrying? Can you listen without absorbing? Can you love without losing yourself? Your sensitivity is not a weakness, it's a strength. But like any strength, it needs direction. When guided by awareness, your empathy becomes a light in the dark. When fueled by attachment, it becomes a fire that consumes you. So let today be a turning point. Choose presence over pressure, love over obligation, boundaries over burnout. You can be kind without bleeding. You can give without emptying. Like the candle, your light is not lost when shared. It is amplified if it comes from a place of grounded self-awareness. Let compassion flow, but let it flow through you, not into you. This is the path of inner freedom. This is the power of mindful empathy. Keep your flame alive. Let it shine, not as a burden, but as your gift. 5. Let go of the fire, not the flame. There's a fire that warms and a fire that burns. You may have carried both. The fire of your passion, your drive, your deep longing to feel and live fully, that's the flame. But the fire of resentment, overreaction, and suppressed wounds, that's the burn. And in trying to hold both, you've scorched yourself. Buddhist wisdom teaches, the flame warms, but fire consumes. So, the path to emotional freedom isn't about extinguishing your spirit. It's about learning to let go of the fire, not the flame. We often confuse intensity with purpose. We think the anger we carry gives us strength, the grief, identity, the urgency, meaning. But when emotional pain is mistaken for passion, we end up feeding flames that only exhaust us. Ask yourself gently, what emotional fire do you keep feeding? What story do you replay in your mind that reignites pain over and over again? There's an old Buddhist parable about a man holding a burning coal, waiting to throw it at his enemy. But as long as he holds it, he is the one getting burned. That's what happens when we cling to unprocessed emotion. We grip what hurts, believing it fuels us, unaware it's slowly consuming our peace. Yet the flame is still sacred. The flame is your spirit, your compassion, your clarity, your courage. It's what remains when anger subsides. It's what rises when pain is released. You don't have to dim yourself to heal. You only have to learn the difference between what's lighting your way and what's setting everything inside you on fire. Breathe deeply. Feel the center of your chest. Place your attention there. Ask, is this fire serving me? Not all intensity is truth. Not all passion is purpose. Some are old wounds masquerading as strength. Now ask, what would life feel like without that fire? Without that bitterness, that emotional charge you thought you needed? What would it feel like to be energized by peace, not driven by pain? You are allowed to be radiant without being reactive, to be powerful without being volatile, to burn brightly, not burn out. Letting go of emotional fire doesn't mean you lose your passion. It means you protect it, you channel it, you honor it by no longer letting it be hijacked by the past. In the calm, your true flame can rise, not chaotic, but steady. True strength is not in the fire that destroys, but in the flame that endures. Let that be your focus. Carry the warmth, release the burn. This is how you stop absorbing pain and start living from your core. Keep the flame alive. Let the fire go. 6. Don't mirror, witness. There's a quiet moment between receiving someone's pain and deciding what to do with it. Most people don't even notice it. They reflect back whatever they're given, anger for anger, sorrow for sorrow, anxiety for anxiety. But Buddhist wisdom offers a gentler way. Don't mirror, witness. There's a sacred difference. Witnessing creates space. Mirroring multiplies pain. When you reflect someone's suffering unconsciously, you become part of it. But when you witness it with presence, you create a field of peace that can hold both of you. You don't have to become what you observe. Just because someone is in chaos doesn't mean you need to echo their storm. Think of the moon. It reflects the sun's light, but it does not burn. It watches the tides, but it is never pulled under. The moon is present, but never consumed. You too can be like that, present still, watching without absorbing. Ask yourself, how often do you mirror others' emotions? How many times have you walked away from a conversation carrying the weight of emotions that weren't even yours? Most of us were never taught emotional boundaries. We think being kind means feeling everything others feel. But empathy without awareness turns into entanglement. It's not compassion if it's costing you your peace. Buddhism teaches mindfulness as the art of conscious observation, not to judge, not to react, but to witness. And that witnessing is powerful. It's what stops pain from spreading. Try this. The next time you're in a difficult interaction, pause, breathe, and silently say to yourself, "This is not mine." Not out of coldness, but clarity. You are recognizing that their emotion is theirs to feel, not yours to carry. Can you stay present without absorbing? Can you love someone without becoming their wound? That is the mastery. To sit with someone in pain and hold your peace like an anchor, not distant, but rooted. That kind of presence heals more than fixing ever could. There's a subtle transformation that happens when you stop reacting and start witnessing. You feel lighter, clearer. You begin to respond, not repeat. You become a space of peace in a world full of emotional mirrors. True strength is not in matching energy, but in mastering your own. And that begins when you stop mirroring pain and start witnessing it. You don't need to reflect someone's storm to prove you care. Your calm presence is enough. So stay soft, but not sponge-like. Be aware, but not absorbent. Let the world be what it is, while you remain grounded in what you are, not a mirror, but a witness, not a reflection of pain, but a presence of peace. 7. You can feel without falling. You've been told that feeling deeply is both a blessing and a curse, that your sensitivity is beautiful but dangerous, that to be open means to suffer. But what if that's only half the story? Buddhist wisdom offers a quiet truth. You can feel without falling. You can walk through emotion like walking through rain, aware of every drop, but not drowning in the storm. Depth does not demand drowning. And yet, how many times have you believed that to be compassionate, to be fully alive, you had to sink with every wave? There's a difference between feeling and falling in, between honoring your emotions and becoming them. Too often, we believe intensity is the proof of sincerity, that unless we cry with the grieving, rage with the angry, or collapse under stress, we aren't truly present. But Buddhist mindfulness teaches the opposite. Presence is not measured by reaction, but by stillness within the feeling. Ask yourself, what emotion have you fallen into lately? Not just felt, but merged with so deeply that it became your identity. Was it fear, guilt, a sense of failure? Whatever it was, notice how easily it pulled you under, because you thought sinking meant you were strong. But the truth is, real strength is found in awareness, in the choice to feel fully, but remain whole. Try this. Visualize a gentle stream. Picture your emotion as a current flowing by. You are not the water. You are the observer on the shore. You watch it with care. You honor its presence. But you don't need to jump in and be swept away. That's mindfulness in practice, observing the feeling, not fusing with it. What would it look like to simply watch it flow? To acknowledge sadness without letting it define your day? To feel anger without letting it shape your decisions? Imagine how different your life would be if every emotion had space to breathe, but none had the power to rule you. You don't have to close your heart to protect it. You only need to open it wisely. Feeling deeply is a gift, but falling into every feeling is a habit, one you can change. The goal isn't numbness, it's spaciousness. It's the strength to hold your center, no matter how much the world around you sways. The ocean doesn't fear the storm because it remembers its depth. So do you. Let yourself feel, but stay rooted. Let the tears come, but know they will pass. Be open, but not overwhelmed. You are allowed to witness emotion without being consumed by it. You can feel and still remain standing. That is not coldness. That is emotional wisdom. And it is your path to inner freedom. 8. Protect your peace like a temple. Your peace is sacred. But somewhere along the way, you may have forgotten that. You opened your doors wide, letting everyone and everything walk into your inner world, without knocking, without respect, without permission. Pain, chaos, negativity, they entered like guests who overstay their welcome. But Buddhist wisdom reminds us, not all visitors are welcome in sacred places. You are that sacred place. And now, it's time to protect your peace like a temple. Imagine your inner world as a quiet shrine, still, serene, untouched by the noise outside. Now ask yourself, who have you let inside? Who drains your peace most often? Is it someone who constantly brings their storms to your doorstep? Is it your own thoughts, unchecked and loud? Is it the pressure to please, to fix, to carry everyone else's emotions as your own? The truth is, you don't owe your peace to anyone. You can still be kind without being available to everything. You can still love and say no. Buddhist practice teaches us the power of right boundaries, not as walls of coldness, but as gates of wisdom. A mindful boundary is not about shutting people out. It's about choosing what you allow in. Ask yourself this: why haven't you closed the door? What fear makes you believe that your peace is less important than someone else's approval? Now try this practice. Picture an imaginary gate at your heart. Visualize yourself standing calmly at that gate, like a monk guarding the temple within. Who do you allow through? What words are allowed to echo in your mind? What energy deserves space in your sacred room? This is not control, it is awareness. And awareness is protection. In a world that asks for your attention constantly, guarding your peace is not selfish, it's survival, it's wisdom. The more you protect your energy, the more you have to give, genuinely, freely, without depletion. A calm heart is not found, it is preserved. So ask yourself again, who enters without permission? What patterns keep invading your stillness? And what would it feel like to finally close that door, gently but firmly? Peace is not passive. It is a daily choice, a discipline, a quiet courage that says, this space is mine, and I will honor it. You don't have to let in every emotion, every opinion, every demand. You are allowed to choose what nourishes and what harms. Your inner world is a temple. Don't treat it like a hallway. Stand guard with compassion. Be soft but strong, and let only what serves your healing pass through. Because once you protect your peace, your soul remembers how to rest again. 9. Boundaries are not barriers. Somewhere deep inside, many of us carry the belief that setting boundaries means we're being selfish, that saying no makes us cold, that protecting our energy is rejection. But Buddhist wisdom offers a new perspective. Boundaries are love wearing armor. They are not walls of separation, but vessels of safety. Like water held safely by a cup, love without boundaries spills and disappears. With boundaries, it's held, contained, and sacred. You've likely felt the pull before, to say yes when you meant no, to smile while shrinking inside, to carry others' emotional weight long after your back began to ache. And perhaps you told yourself it was compassion. But true compassion cannot exist without clarity, because without boundaries, even the purest love turns to exhaustion. Ask yourself now, where in life do you need clearer boundaries? Is it with the people who always ask more than they give? Is it in your work, where expectations stretch endlessly into your peace? Is it within your own mind, where guilt whispers every time you choose yourself? Buddhist practice invites us into awareness, and with awareness comes choice. You do not have to be a container for everyone's pain. You do not need to be endlessly open to prove you care. Care guided by wisdom knows when to close the door, when to step back, when to say, this is enough. Try this mindfulness practice. Say aloud, I choose what enters. Feel the power in those words. Let them echo through your body. This is not resistance, it's remembrance. You are not responsible for holding what drains you. You are responsible for honoring your sacred space. What fears arise when you try to set boundaries? Is it fear of being unloved, fear of guilt, fear of losing connection? These fears are real, but they're not final. They are echoes of old stories. And every time you honor your space, you begin to rewrite them. Boundaries are not rejection, they are refinement. They show others how to love you well. They teach you how to love yourself first. And when built with intention, they don't create distance, they create depth. Because what is shared within healthy boundaries is chosen, not coerced. You are allowed to protect your peace. You are allowed to choose presence over pressure. You are allowed to be kind and firm, open and discerning. Remember, even the Buddha sat beneath the Bodhi tree and turned away from distraction. Not out of hatred, but out of wisdom, to stay aligned, to awaken. Let your boundaries do the same. The heart is not meant to be a highway, it is a home. Keep it guarded, not locked, soft, not spilled, and you will no longer absorb pain, you'll transform it into clarity. 10. Detach, don't disconnect. There is a quiet strength in those who can remain open without losing themselves. In a world that equates caring with clinging and connection with control, Buddhist wisdom gently redefines the path. Detach, don't disconnect. It's not about building walls. It's about staying rooted while letting life pass through. Detachment is presence without possession. You can love deeply, support fully, and still not carry what was never yours to hold. Most people fear detachment because they mistake it for distance. They believe it means not feeling, not caring, or giving up. But true detachment is the opposite. It's staying fully present without being swept away. It's like a tree, deeply rooted in the earth, yet unmoved by the passing wind. Storms come, seasons change, but it remains still, not cold, but clear. Ask yourself, who or what do you cling to emotionally? Is it a relationship where your peace depends on their approval? A career where your worth is tied to performance? Or a past that continues to shape your present long after it's gone? Clinging is subtle. It often wears the mask of love, ambition, or loyalty. But beneath it, there's always fear. Fear of loss, fear of emptiness, fear of being forgotten. Buddhism teaches that freedom begins the moment we realize that pain doesn't come from love itself. It comes from attachment to outcomes. Love says, I see you. Attachment says, you belong to me. Support says, I'm here for you. Clinging says, don't leave me. Inhale now and silently say, connection. Exhale and say, attachment. That's your practice. Stay close without holding tight. So, what would calm detachment feel like for you? Imagine offering love like a flowing river, not forced, not withheld, just moving naturally from your center. Imagine letting people be who they are without bending yourself to manage their emotions. Imagine being fully alive in this moment without being held hostage by the past or the future. Detachment is not disconnection. It's the art of choosing peace over possession. It allows you to walk through emotional storms and still see the sky. It lets you engage deeply while protecting your energy. It brings the clarity that says, I can care without collapsing. You do not have to stop feeling. You only have to stop fusing. Let what comes, come. Let what goes, go. Be rooted, not rigid. Present, not possessed. True freedom is not in cutting ties. It's in releasing the grip. When you detach with love, you stop absorbing pain and start radiating peace. So open your heart, but hold your center. Be like the tree, steady, giving, and free. 11. Stillness heals what force cannot. We've been taught to fix everything, heal it, analyze it, name it, solve it. But not all pain is a puzzle to be solved. Some wounds don't need noise, they need stillness. Still waters reveal the sky. When we stop stirring the muddy river of our minds, clarity rises on its own. Buddhist wisdom whispers a truth modern life forgets. Stillness heals what force cannot. There's a quiet story in every one of us. That heartbreak you try to rewrite. That failure you dissect again and again. That emotion you keep digging through as if understanding it will finally erase it. But some things dissolve not when we fight them, but when we stop fighting. Sit with your pain in silence. Watch it shift, not with judgment, not with urgency, just presence. Like a mountain watching the storm pass, unchanged, unmoved. Pain is like mud in a river. The more you churn it, the cloudier it becomes. But if you let it be, if you simply hold space without panic, without grasping, it settles. You begin to see through it. You realize the emotion isn't you. It's passing, temporary, a visitor, not a verdict. Ask yourself, what emotions do you keep trying to fix? Is it guilt you inherited? Grief that keeps showing up? Anger that rises without permission? We wear ourselves out with the belief that we must solve everything to be free. But some things resolve on their own, not through effort, but through acceptance, through rest, through the sacred power of stillness. Stillness is not passivity, it's presence. It doesn't mean you give up. It means you stop resisting. You observe, and in that observation, healing begins. Just like wounds close naturally when not picked, the emotional body also knows how to mend when we stop interfering. Imagine a moment where you didn't try to change the feeling. You just watched it, like watching clouds drift or wind move trees. No fixing, no labeling, just being. Imagine what your heart would feel like without the pressure to perform healing. Just space, just breathe, just now. Buddhist monks don't rush suffering. They sit with it, not to control it, but to understand its nature. And in that stillness, the pain either transforms or fades. But it's not forced, it's witnessed. You don't need one more strategy, you need space. You don't need to win against your emotions. You need to allow them to soften. Some of the deepest healing happens in silence, not because you did more, but because you finally stopped doing. So today, be still. Let the mud settle. Let the sky return. And watch your soul remember what peace feels like, not because you fought for it, but because you paused long enough to receive it. Bonus lesson. Return to the observer within. There's a part of you that has never been hurt, never been broken, never been afraid. It watches quietly. It feels everything, yet remains untouched. While your mind wrestles with fear and your heart aches with old wounds, this part of you simply observes. It is the sky, vast, open, untouched by the storm. This is the observer within. The watcher is never wounded. And when you return to that place, emotional pain loses its grip. Not because the pain disappears, but because you remember you are not it. You've been so entangled in your stories, haven't you? The heartbreak that defined you, the guilt you can't shake, the chaos you absorbed from others. You've worn them like second skin, forgetting that beneath it all, there is something deeper, more permanent. Who is it that watches your sadness rise and fall? Who is it that hears the anxious thoughts but doesn't speak them? That's you, the real you. Not the identity shaped by wounds, but the presence behind them, like the sky that holds the storm without becoming it. Buddhism teaches us to sit, not just with the pain, but with the one who is aware of the pain. That shift changes everything. When you repeat, "I am the awareness, not the wound," something softens. You no longer cling to the emotion or try to escape it. You simply witness. You allow. And in that gentle allowing, suffering loses its sharpness. You don't drown in the waves, you become the ocean. Ask yourself honestly, when did you last sit with your true self? Not the self that performs for the world, not the self chasing validation or fearing rejection, but the quiet awareness that has always been there, watching. That part of you doesn't react, doesn't absorb, it understands, it feels, but it doesn't fall. And when you live from that space, peace is no longer something you chase, it's something you are. Pain may visit, but it doesn't stay. It passes through, like clouds, like thunder, like wind. The observer within is your home, your return point, your refuge. And every time life overwhelms you, every time you start absorbing pain that isn't yours, pause, breathe, come back. Come back to the one who watches. I am the awareness, not the wound. You are not here to carry every storm. You are here to remember that you are the calm before it, the presence beneath it, the sky beyond it. So return home, not to fix, not to fight, but to remember who you truly are. You've always been whole. Now, finally, be still enough to feel it. Quick summary of the lessons. You were never meant to hold it all. Most of the emotional weight you carry may not belong to you. Learning to recognize borrowed pain is the first step toward inner peace. Pain is energy, not identity. Emotional pain is something that moves through you. It's not who you are. Separation from the experience creates freedom from it. Silence is your shield. Silence isn't weakness, it's protection. Through stillness, you create a space where emotional chaos can't intrude. Empathy is a gift, not a cage. Feeling deeply is powerful, but not if it traps you in other people's suffering. Compassion can exist without emotional entanglement. Let go of the fire, not the flame. Release the emotional intensity that burns without dimming your inner light. You can stay passionate without being consumed. Don't mirror, witness. You are not obligated to reflect the emotions of others. Observing pain without absorbing it is a form of emotional mastery. You can feel without falling. Sensitivity doesn't have to lead to suffering. You can allow emotions without being overpowered by them. Protect your peace like a temple. Peace must be guarded with awareness and boundaries. Not everything deserves access to your inner calm. Boundaries are not barriers. True boundaries are acts of love for yourself and others. They don't separate, they protect and honor space. Detach, don't disconnect. Detachment is staying present without becoming lost in others' emotional realities. It's a loving form of balance. Stillness heals. What force cannot? You don't need to fix every feeling. Sometimes, quiet presence is the greatest healing force. Return to the observer within. You are not your emotions. You are the awareness beneath them. Anchoring in that self brings lasting peace. There's a kind of peace the world can't give you and can never take from you. You may have come here thinking you need to become stronger to stop absorbing pain. But the truth is, you needed to become clearer, calmer, and more connected to your true self, the observer within. The Buddha said, the root of suffering is attachment. And often, we are not just attached to people, we're attached to their pain, their chaos, their expectations. Letting go doesn't mean not caring. It means caring without losing yourself in the process. So today, let this be the beginning of a new kind of strength, the kind that chooses stillness over reaction, clarity over chaos, and presence over pain. The next time emotional energy tries to pull you under, breathe, return to awareness, and remember, you are the sky, not the storm. What pain are you ready to stop absorbing, starting today? Don't forget to subscribe to Deep Wisdom for more inspiring Buddhist insights on living a peaceful life. If this video brought you peace, give it a like and share it with someone who needs this calm. We'd love to hear your thoughts. Drop your reflection in the comments below.